Hi, I'm David, and this is Random Writing Tips, Episode 3. As writers, we all go through a slump where we just aren't writing anything and we're stuck. And I just want to go over what works for me. Maybe it will work for you too, maybe not. We'll see. But I'm going to start off with the tip number 1. And tip number 1, I feel like will be my best tip. And then after number 1, the rest are in no particular order. They're just 7 tips that I feel like will help you guys. So here we go. Tip number 1. Write 100 words a day. By developing this habit, you will be able to write again. I feel like writing 100 words a day is an easy way to rebuild your habit of just writing and just write actual prose. Write actually the way you would if you were writing your book or story or whatever. Now, obviously, it doesn't have to be for the book or story or whatever, but as long as you're writing prose and not just random whatever, instead of writing like, oh man, today sucked a whole lot, it really sucked, and then writing that 10 times in a row and being like, oh, I wrote my 100 words for the day. I mean, it's not going to help you. Like, don't do that. But if you write 100 words of prose a day, that should help you rebuild your habit. And just a simple thing to sit down, just to get you in the mindset of just to get you in that world in your head and thinking that way. And if you do that every day, I feel like it's helped me a lot, and it can help you a lot too. Moving on to number 2, here's where you write garbage. Number 2, Freewrite. It just sit down and write anything at all, nonstop, whatever comes to mind. Just let it all out. Just vent, just fucking pour everything you have in here onto the page. And sometimes that helps. And sometimes it's as simple as that. Sometimes you just need to sit down and you're not making the time to write, but you just need to sit down and just write. And even if it's Freewrite and it's garbage, just the act of emptying everything out, you might be like, oh, okay, here's what I need to do next. And you just move on to that next thing. If that doesn't work, you can move on to tip number 3. And that would be to meditate. Honestly, I really like meditation. I feel like it works. It definitely helps me clear my head when I'm just overthinking things and I get stuck. You can sit down at least 5 minutes, preferably 10, maybe longer if you're used to it. Yeah, if you sit down and do the breathing exercise where you breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, and you put your hand on your belly and you can feel your belly expand as you breathe in and out, and try not to think. And that could help. Yeah, that could totally just change your mindset and get you unstuck. If that doesn't work, let's move on to tip number 4. And tip number 4 is to just go for a long walk. That's it. That's the tip. You just go outside and walk around. I mean, it's springtime. The weather's a little bit better. Summer's coming. It's around the corner. Just go for a long walk. I feel like even today, that's what I resorted to. I was stuck. Didn't know what to do with a particular scene. And I went on like a half an hour walk in the sun. It felt great. I felt great. And I was just thinking it through. And sometimes we just need to get out of our workspace. And for writers, oftentimes that's at home. You get away from that and just walk around outside, and that can unstick some things. I can get some things unstuck. If that doesn't work, we'll move on to tip number 5. And that is ask for help. Simple enough, right? I mean, there's a huge writing community on Twitter. There is plenty of Authortube channels with plethora of advice, with tons of advice, hella advice. There's hella advice out there. But yeah, between the Twitter community, Authortube, even blogs on WordPress, I mean, reach out to other writers. Like, I don't know any other writers like in my day-to-day life, but luckily through social media, I've met plenty. And if you are really stuck, like, man, how do I tackle this one problem? And this one problem is getting me stuck. And you can be like, hey, what would you guys do? Or what would you do? And maybe that helps you. Maybe you find the answer. They're like, oh yeah, I got stuck in a similar situation. Here's what I did, or this is what you should do. Or maybe the idea doesn't even help, but it leads to something that does. And then you get back to writing and boom, you're golden. And if that doesn't work, then I would suggest number 6. I don't know why I keep putting my hands up and showing the numbers like you guys don't know what number 6 is. Number 6, here you go. I don't know why I keep doing that, but like whatever. It's my video. Oh, right. So number 6, if you can, intense physical exercise. You might be like, what does that have to do with writing? Not a lot. But as writers, we spend so much time in our heads that it's easy to just sit there and overthink something and overthink and overthink and overthink. And eventually you get stuck and it sucks. So if you can do something like go to the gym, lift some heavy ass weight, or if you don't belong to a gym, sprint around the block, do some like intense running, get the heart rate going, get pumped up. Anything really just to get out of your head and just stop thinking and do something physical. And for me, like, I like to go and practice jujitsu from time to time. I'm not very consistent, and honestly, it's not even so much about learning it as it is I just enjoy the mental relief of sparring at the end of class. Like the whole idea that you're trying to choke somebody out and they're trying to choke you out, and then when you compete with each other and just practice, it's intense, and you walk out and you just feel like a huge weight has been lifted off your shoulders. You feel like man, I feel better. Now I can focus. It's a lot easier to focus. Now, if physical exercise and things like that, that's just not an option for you, I would skip straight to number 7, and that's to take a break. Now you might say, well, David, I haven't written in 3 months. Why the fuck would I take a break? And to that I say, relax. No, you haven't. Because if you're stuck in a certain part of your story and it's just on your mind like day after day, and you're like, you haven't written anything in weeks, and you're stuck on this one part, you're like, I don't know where to go from here. And so you haven't been writing, you continue to not write, and it's just like bogging you down. And you keep like thinking like, oh, I'm gonna do it today. Today I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go home and write, and you go and you sit down and you're stuck. Take a break. Stop trying for like a couple days, even maybe for a week. Just don't even pretend to try. Just say, I am not gonna write for a whole week. Now don't go too far past that. You don't want to be like several months later or 3 years later, like, yeah, don't worry guys, I'm on a break. I'm figuring it out. It's fine. It's all gonna work out. No, like take like a couple days or a week where you're just like, I'm not writing anything. I'm just focusing on living, just enjoying life, whatever, watching shit. That's it. Just take the pressure off yourself. A lot of times as writers, we're our own boss. We make our own hours, which usually revolve around our other job that actually pays the bills. So our hours can often be late night, early morning, things like that. But whatever. Take a break. If you do that, maybe that works. And hopefully one of these tips can help you and get you unstuck and just get you writing again. You might not even be stuck. You just might be distracted by so many other things. Hopefully you can grab one of these tips and just, that doesn't sound right. Hopefully you can take one of these tips. That sounds bad too. Hopefully one of these tips helps you out. Hopefully something here in this video can get you writing again, because it's great. It's an amazing thing to do. That's it. If you know any other tips, leave a comment down below. I would love to discuss this. I'm open to hearing other ideas, and maybe we can help each other out. We're all on this journey together, right? So, all right. Until next time. Later.